Yeah, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on when and where you're watching from. This is Alex Tomaszewska, a confidence trainer for women who want more from life but feel like their inner chains are holding them down. And today I have a great pleasure of interviewing Shweta Thapa on 3D printing. So let me just quickly introduce her. She's a co-founder of 3 Educators and a 3D printing consultant for Makerspaces. She's a mechanical engineer and an entrepreneur and a pioneer in 3D printing. Her mission in life is to educate about 3D printing, innovation, and design thinking. And she's also a New Jersey ambassador for women and 3D printing, running their chapter. Thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Alex. I really appreciate you having me here and giving me a chance to talk about my journey. So,
Yes. Brilliant. So let's start. So tell us about 3 Educators. What is it that you do? What is it that your company does? This is strongly connected to your mission in life. So
Mhm.
very inspiring
so
story.
educators is essentially instead of an educators, you put a three in there. So educating about 3D is what 3 educators is.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission is global education, educating communities, not just about being able to make their ideas into a reality, being able to see good in everything, and that there is a possibility that if you decide to do something, anything and everything is possible. And 3D printing is one of the tools that makes it happen. So we educate communities on basic things like, you wanted to make something like a household kit or something like, a hook or whatever. I mean, you don't have to go for shop, for simple things. But if you had a printer, you could just design it sitting at home and, have it printed out in the next 2 hours. It's like instead of a cupcake machine, you have a printer that essentially makes whatever you want. And the more people get to know about it, I'm happy to see them excited about the technology and then make sure that there is no bridge, like there is no problem in understanding the technical aspect of 3D printing. So we educate communities especially about that and making sure that design is the way to go. Like, you have an idea, you're able to dream about it, sleep in your bed, have an idea and see that you can actually have it tangible, physical, holding in your hands the very next time you see it. So the process that goes through it, we make you happen, we make the whole idea real.
We make it
And that's what, yeah, we love
beautiful,
doing. Mm-hmm.
beautiful, beautiful. So designing like a hook for the home, how difficult is that? Can you actually like, can a normal person,
Mm-hmm.
do that, design it to print it? Because this is like something that's like, wow, no,
Mm-hmm.
I can do this.
That's
I
the
know there
thing.
are designs ready for you online, you can
Uh-huh.
download them, but then
Uh-huh.
designing on your own, the idea that you dream of, how realistic is that you're able to do that?
Mhm. So here's the thing. Like earlier, we used to think designing would be something like, you have to have an art sketch canvas on it and then make things and then try to convert it into something digital. It sounds very laborious, very painstaking. But I feel with the advent of IT and technology, we have so many resources on Google. Like we have these open source CAD softwares that we can use, which
Yeah.
have designs available for us to use and designs that we can make. So using a fine balance between what we have and what we want to do, we can use these softwares and design simple things. So
Mm.
once you get, access and log into the software and you start playing with it, it's not at all rocket science. In fact, when I used to educate a lot of school teachers, they would see that software for the first time, and it's just like a little know-how of how you move things, how you zoom, how you see different views, and they would learn it in an hour or so. I mean,
Wow.
you just set your mind to it. It's easy. It's not hard. Trust me. You just have
Well,
to give it a try. And then and then the world is helping you out. Technology has gone way too advanced these days, and I think you just have to try. Give it a try, not be scared.
mhm,
So,
right.
and whatever
Um,
you
and so this a household 3D
want.
printer, what
Mhm.
sort of cost are we talking about? Like a basic printer that you have can have
Mhm.
at home. How
Mhm.
much do we have to pay for that?
It's so a basic printer to just get you started off with would cost somewhere from $300 to $500 or so. and then you build on it. You build all kinds of things you want with it, play with it. It's like your mini toy, like a mini coffee machine. And then it's just that it prints things. It prints art, creativity, different things that you can imagine.
Uh-huh.
It's very affordable. 2 years back, it wasn't something you could touch. But
Mm.
these days, especially considering the maker community, it
Mm-hmm.
has become affordable for people to just get started on the thing. So,
And I know you teach women how to start a business or even a startup around 3D printing. So I'm assuming they could start with this household 3D printer, a cheap one.
absolutely.
So can you give us some examples of some businesses that women have started based on that? And
So
there's
I
a huge opportunity. I just want to mention this is still an
Sure.
opportunity. So listen up closely to this because
Absolutely.
it's a very interesting concept here.
Uh-huh. So here's the thing. One of my students, or one of the entrepreneurs who wanted to start her own business with STEM education, she came up to me, and then I started her with doing simple design softwares, because that's the key to anything. If you want to make something someday by yourself, you have to start thinking creatively about certain things. So I
Mm.
started her on simple topics. There are open source CAD softwares like Onshape, Tinkercad, Fusion 360. So I
Mm-hmm.
got hooked up to one of the softwares, trained her for a couple of weeks to get more familiar with what she wanted to do. And then her goal was education. So I had her think in a certain way, like it's called empathetic thinking, that, how would an elementary school kid find something more interesting than what he does in his normal school?
Yeah.
You know, how would it make geography more interesting if we had 3D printed mountains and, terrains and everything? Wouldn't it be more fun than just reading the book about it? So that was the key. If you try and find a visual perception about something and you have the ability to print it out, you will make education so much more fun for everyone. And it's inspiring that I showed her things from a design thinking perspective. We went through all these ways to think about things from different angles and what's the best use of it. And then we started off with the 3D printer. How do you assemble a basic kit? What
Mm-hmm.
material goes into it, and how tough it is? And it wasn't like she was trained on the hardware like just in one day, and then she could use it easily because it had just normal manual instructions. It's like operating a coffee machine, as long as you know what is on, what is off, what is heated bed. So it's simple. And
Right.
then she had all these ideas that she always wanted to make an experiment with, that she wanted to make, say, one of the skyscrapers in New York. And we're like, okay, let's go ahead. Let's start with small building blocks and then
Uh-huh.
go from 3D printing them and then, making the whole skyscraper. And then it came off really beautiful. And then she got a hang of it, that, okay, I can make this, so I can make anything. And that gave her more confidence to
Mm.
go forward with things. And now she runs her own STEM club. So she has students coming in from in America itself. Like, she has a lot of Asian population coming down, and then everybody, she educates them about printing, and then how you can incorporate STEM with it, have robotics with it, and things like that. So yeah, that was one of the examples that benefited a lot. Like, she
Awesome.
used printing, and yeah, she did something with that. And
So you
then
have somebody who does the same thing basically as you. So you're training other people to also educate
uh-huh,
about 3D printing. You're creating your own
uh-huh,
community
yeah,
there. That's beautiful.
no,
Are
I
you
was
there?
a jewelry
Oh, yeah.
maker. Yes, you see me? Yeah. So the
Yes.
jewelry maker that I had, she had like brilliant ideas, like, customized jewelry with, the love, whatever you have, like different letters, say your own letter on your ring, customization to an extent. So I coached her on how she could use design thinking, what kind of software she could be trained on. And then she started 3D printing her little molds and then casting inside it with different metals and whatnot. So that was like little baby steps to get to the main process. And then the kind of rings and things that you can make with it, it's incredible. Let me show you an example of a ring that I had one of my students make. So this is how it comes out
Uh-huh.
in a printer. So that's a big ring for an example, but you can customize it. Say, you have a logo on it.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
And then you have to take it out. Then you have to tear it away
it's
from the
big
construction.
Exactly. You take all the support structures out,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a little thing for yourself. So, I mean, these are little things that you could just design simple to start with and
Mm-hmm.
then go on more complex as much as you like and need. Like, check this out. This is a piece of art. It's on my bucket
Beautiful.
list. Uh-huh.
It's on my bucket list. Beautiful. Is it flexible?
Hello.
Yeah. Is it flexible?
This one's crystal shade. This one is hard resin.
Uh-huh.
So this one's not flexible, but I have a bunch of other samples that are flexible, which are used for different applications. This is more of an art object, like,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to have all the monuments laid out for yourself. This one is crystal, more of a resin.
Crystal.
Yeah.
You can 3D print in crystal.
Yes, exactly. If you are an artist, you would value it a lot because it's another dimension for you. Yeah, you can make flexible. This is flexible.
Okay. Wow. That's
So
incredible. It's like a sponge.
yeah, exactly. So for your everybody's information, Carbon, it's a very big 3D printing company. They actually partnered up with Adidas to make those 3D printable shoes. Because we were talking about flexibility, I'm like, okay, so you can actually make your sole like super flexible and be like, you have one of the best shoes and the most custom shoes in the world.
And then you
So
can, instead of buying the in soles, I think they're called. If you have a flat foot, you can just
yeah,
print your own shoes. And then,
exactly.
right. So what would be the cost of printing this a pair of shoes like that, for example?
Oh my God. Now that's a good point. I mean, when see, if you were to buy shoes like that, a custom shoes, if you go to the store, I think it would be more expensive than the normal ones. Just manufacturing it on carbon 3D printer, that's supposed to be the world's fastest printer in resin,
Mhm,
and it's about $1 million worth of a printer. And I mean, companies normally lease that printer out in
mhm,
order to make, high flexibility samples. So, I mean, a pair of shoes would be definitely more than a grand or so, I would say.
mhm,
Uh, Cost wise, it would be expensive because it's still in the niche phase. Like, we haven't reached to that point that it's commercially available,
mhm,
like this flexible technology. Like, people
mhm,
are learning about it, but there would be a time soon that, it gets more affordable for everyone.
mhm.
But as of now, it's still a little expensive to
Right,
invest.
right. But you mentioned that the cost dropped within the last 2 years greatly, right?
Uh,
And I remember when I first heard about 3D printing, that must have been around 6 years ago, from my friend who started working for this 3D printing company. And he gave me we're both engineers, he gave me a
wow.
gift for birthday.
Aw.
And the gift was, he just got me started around this idea of 3D printing, and he knew I would love that. So he did
Uh-huh.
3D printed, like in one go, this small
Mm.
cage which had
Hmm.
a small round cage, which had a Tweety bird on a
Okay.
swing on
Beautiful.
chains inside.
Uh-huh.
And the circles that
Oh,
make the chains, they were separate. I was looking at it just mesmerized. I
beautiful.
wish I had it with
Yeah.
me, but I moved a couple times and I
Uh-huh.
don't know where it is. And
That's
that
really
was,
good.
that was an incredible gift because it
Incredible.
just presented all those possibilities of the 3D printer. So
Yeah.
that was
Uh-huh.
incredible.
Yeah. I
Right,
know.
so let's talk about other usages maybe for aesthetics and women in particular. I think you showed me a purse. You can even print out a purse on a
Yes.
3D printer. You had a photo of that.
Yes. Let me show you some that. So, I mean, it's all about your imagination at the end of the day. If you think anything is possible. So, let me pull out one of the purses that I have here that we 3D printed. That's using an FDM printer. Okay. Yeah, it's right here. So, I hope this plays. So, you see the yellow?
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Those are like small little pieces of 3D in yellow. They're all stitched together. There you go. You
Stitched
can have your
together.
custom bag. Yeah, they're
Brilliant.
custom bags. Like they're melted using plastic. So you join them together And
Mm-hmm.
then you can have any custom bag for yourself. Like this one has triangles in it. You can have polygons. You can have shapes that you like. So it's beautiful, the level to which you can get to. I mean, it's all what you think.
And is it biodegradable?
It is biodegradable. So this plastic is called PLA. It's a corn-based plastic, and you put it in the soil for the next 2 weeks, it will be gone. So it's
Two
healthy,
weeks.
and that's yeah.
That is so beautiful. 2 weeks biodegradable. Oh my God, this is really biodegradable, not like 100 years biodegradable. Wow. Wow, that is brilliant. Um,
Mhm.
okay, so I also remember I was doing a presentation a few years ago about artificial limbs. And there was
Yes.
this concept, there was
Mhm.
this woman who was printing her
Mhm.
legs. And I think
Yeah.
now you mentioned you can do it now from home, so you can have an artificial leg, and those were like masterpieces, beautiful
Mhm.
pieces of art. They look like pantyhose. They can look like when you're riding a motorcycle, like those
Uh-huh.
motorcycle boots or anything else, for any specific occasion.
Uh-huh. So I would say 3D printing has gotten to a point where you can actually make affordable assisted living possible. So,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, see this picture? We
Mm-hmm.
made this in our office. So that's a 3D printed prosthetic hand design. Okay,
You made it
that's the
at
one.
your office. Wow.
Yeah, so we 3D printed it out and it's in the same PLA, corn-based plastic, and then we snap them together with strings. But
Mm-hmm.
essentially, it does the same thing, the artificial limb. And I mean, people use it. We we have them program it in a way that you can bend and try to pick and place something, you know. But prototyping has become really easy with that. So prosthetics is one of the very key uses because
Mm-hmm.
with 3D printing you can change the strength parameters, the density, and then make parts stronger depending on where you want to place the application. If it's a functional part, you can go to any extent to vary the composition, so you get that flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can go to higher end models and make things like heart.
Oh yeah.
So that's an anatomical heart. So they're both the same, just that this one, when it's printed out, it comes with support structures.
Yes.
And yeah, and once it's cleaned out, it kind of looks like this.
Yes.
So that's the other application we are moving towards in 3D printing,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to capture or come with real printing organs or things that are healthy, that are actually making a difference in the world.
So you would print
And it also Mhm.
organs from stem cells, and then
Yes.
so you could print a heart from stem cells and then change them into heart cells, basically, or a kidney.
Yeah. So stem cells, biowings, hydrogels, a combination of scaffolds and the right composition can
Mm-hmm.
actually help you make a regenerative organ. And I mean, this is something in research going on, but they have bioprinters. They have made it. There's like a bunch of them that are already doing it. And your ear, people who don't have ears and they want to get like replacement parts, you
Uh-huh.
can have an ear for yourself. Or heart is still complex because we are still working on the right composition.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
skin grafts and a lot of things, everybody's using 3D printing for that. It's very widespread in the medical industry.
Mm.
Mm.
Right. Excellent. That is very interesting.
Mhm.
And it also reminds me of this show that we had in Poland in the 80s. It was a cartoon for kids. It was called
Okay.
The Enchanted Pencil. And
Hmm.
there was this boy who had this enchanted pencil. He could draw on anything and it came to
Uh-huh.
life basically as a 3D
Wow.
object. And 3D printing is exactly
Uh-huh.
like that for me. So I used to watch it as a kid and now it's real,
Right. Yeah.
basically. This designing,
Right.
it's
It's
totally
magical.
incredible.
I'm
Um,
I'm I'm glad. I mean, I wish we had it when we were studying. It would be
uh-huh.
such a game changer. But I think the kids of this generation are very grateful that they have access to this technology. All they have to do is tap their best things into it, and you can make anything you want. So it's very widespread.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. So if anybody wants to contact you, we will post links on how to contact you. But then I want to ask you, what do you need so that other people in our community, other women who see
Mm-hmm.
you, can connect with you? I think you mentioned people who wanted to be ambassadors of, to teach 3D printing, but also let us know what are your needs
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
what can you offer to other women
Sure.
in the community.
Absolutely. So my goal is to have as many women be a part of the STEM revolution as much as possible. I would love to and see what's your comfort zone, step out of it so that you can discover the best in you. You have an idea, you cannot just sit there and be like, oh my god, I just dreamt about it, but I don't know if it's possible. So if
Uh-huh.
you have any need of making your idea real, I would definitely have you take the next step towards it, because anything is possible with 3D printing. 3D printing is just like your magic lamp. I can make anything possible for you. One is that. The other is, if you want to learn, get trained, get educated, I would love to do that, because that's my core strength. I mean, I feel more powerful when I get to educate more women. you know it's like
Mm-hmm.
give and take.
Yeah.
The more you give, the more you get back, and that's, I think, charity for me. The other thing that I like is, I mean, I'm involved with a lot of STEM clubs, robotics groups, kids, students, help them in prototyping projects. So if you have need to produce something in bulk, maybe say an earring or a special kind of custom jewelry, I
Mm-hmm.
can help you produce that, because I run a 3D printing farm full of about 40 printers,
Mm-hmm.
different kinds, FDM printers and resin printers. So I would definitely be able to help you out with that. Or if you have a design in mind that you want to finish, I can help you out with that too. And trainings, workshops, feel free. Just don't hesitate and wait until like the time is right, until I get familiar with the software, until no, don't hold up. Just
Right.
start.
The
Yeah.
changes are moving quickly in this
Mhm.
in this, and there's a lot of opportunities to open your business, whatever that be, around 3D printing, or use it for your own
Yeah.
business.
Mhm.
Awesome. Um,
Mhm.
anything else you would like to add?
I would just, I mean, if for my contact info, I am best reachable out by my email
Mm-hmm.
or Facebook, for instance. So shweta@3educators.org, or just on my Instagram channel, whatever works out the best for you. But I would definitely say take the next leap, because I know this technology is new and people want to be familiar, but when you already have resources, you can just tap into them. From building a basic machine, it's not like, it's not for women, or tech is not for girls or anything. I don't think you should have any kind of bias like that. If you want to do something, just go ahead and get it, and I'll help you out.
I love that. I love that message. Thank you so much for adding that. It was
Uh-huh.
brilliant to have you here. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us and to teach
Uh-huh.
us. And I
Uh-huh.
wish you all the best on your journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I wish you the same.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.